But what about when they have writer's block or some kind of creative block? How do you actually kind of break through that as a leader or as an individual? My partner Haley's in the crowd. About 3 weeks ago, she said, "Isn't your SocialEast presentation due in like a week?" And I went, "Yep." So I was stuck. I had kind of pieces of a presentation, but they weren't really working. And I decided to take a trip to the Halifax Public Gardens. What I love about the gardens is every season they look different. So it's always kind of this new space. And I went from being stuck and anxious to within 3.5 hours, just vomiting the premise of a presentation into my phone and constructing the whole thing in one go. It reminded me of this guy named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He's going to be Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi because I don't want to pronounce his last name. He's a psychologist that studies creativity and flow. And some of the tenets of creativity for Mihaly include personal experience, like we discussed earlier, and also the environment, both the old and the new. And one of my favorite premises from the book is that maybe the easiest way to stimulate creativity is to just simply change the environment or the conditions of the environment. Go somewhere new. And there's an animated show that I love this anecdote, love this story of them effectively using this. South Park. South Park, if you want to talk about organizations that put heavy constraints that drive creativity, they publish a new episode, 22 minutes, animated in 6 days. Absolutely insane. For them, it works, right? Not for everyone. But they were having writer's block. They couldn't come up with anything, and they went to a nature reserve in Los Angeles, and they started watching the fish. And somehow them watching the fish evolved into this idea of, what if Evel Knievel was a fish? And then what if he got in this motorcycle accident, and then there was a joke about it, but Kanye West didn't understand the joke? And it was an absolutely absurd premise that actually, eventually, with some nurturing, turned into their top performing episode of all time at that time. So new environments encourage stimulation, insights, and so on and so forth. Familiar environments are also really critical, and they are for whittling down the idea to something usable. Okay. So once South Park had this premise, they then went back to their writer's room and fine-tuned the episode.